The jungle world of Doreen 5 was silent at first, too silent. Even through the hull of his small starship, Ethan Cole could feel the strange calm. Then the alarm lights flashed red, and the distress beacon on his console started blinking again. Unregistered signal detected, the ship's AI repeated for the third time. Ethan leaned closer. The signal was weak, scattered through static like a cry for help swallowed by wind. He frowned. "That's coming from the surface," he muttered. The planet wasn't supposed to have intelligent life. Only thick jungles, toxic mist, and strange beasts that didn't like visitors. Still, he couldn't ignore a distress call, not after what happened last time. With a sigh, Ethan pulled the flight stick and descended through storm clouds. Lightning cracked around the silver comet as the ship rattled like a can in a storm. When he finally broke through the clouds, he saw the green, endless jungle stretching far below and smoke. A shipwreck. He landed a few meters away, grabbed his plasma rifle and stepped out into the heavy air. The smell of burning metal and wet soil hit him instantly. His boots sank into the mud as he pushed through ferns taller than himself. Every sound, the buzz of insects, the croak of unseen creatures echoed through the fog. Then he heard it. A scream. It was sharp, not human, but filled with fear. Ethan ran toward the sound, brushing branches aside until he reached a clearing. There, under the shadow of broken metal, lay a figure, a woman but not human. Her skin shimmered faint blue and strange markings glowed faintly on her arms. Her silver hair was tangled and dirty, and she was surrounded by huge, tusked, boar-like beasts with blood-red eyes. Ethan didn't think. He lifted his rifle and fired. The first plasma bolt hit the nearest beast in the chest. It roared and fell. The others turned, snarling, charging toward him. Ethan rolled to the side, fired again, until the air smelled of burned fur and smoke. One beast managed to slam into him, throwing him to the ground, but he kicked it back and blasted it point blank. When silence finally returned, the clearing was littered with the bodies of the beasts. Ethan's breathing was heavy. His armor was scratched, but he was alive. Then he looked at the woman again. She was watching him with wide, glowing eyes, her chest rising and falling fast. She tried to speak, but her words came out broken and strange. Half whisper, half melody. "Easy. It's okay," Ethan said, kneeling beside her. He noticed deep claw marks on her leg. Without thinking, he tore open a med pack and sprayed healing foam over the wounds. The alien woman flinched at first, then looked at him, puzzled. Her voice was soft, trembling. "You not Hunter?" Ethan blinked. "Hunter? No, just a pilot." She tilted her head as if trying to understand. Then she whispered, "Save." "Me," he nodded. "Already did." Ethan helped her stand, but she stumbled and nearly fell into his arms. Her skin was cold, almost weightless. For a moment their eyes met, hers glowing like liquid light. And Ethan felt something strange, a pull he couldn't explain. The jungle behind them growled again. "More beasts, time to go," he said firmly. He lifted her into his arms. She was lighter than she looked and carried her back toward his ship. The fog thickened as he ran and shapes moved in the distance. The howls grew louder. By the time he reached the silver comet, the beasts were closing in. He slammed the door shut, hit the thrusters, and the ship rose from the ground, leaving the monsters roaring below. Inside, he placed the woman gently on a seat. She winced but managed to sit up. Ethan wiped the sweat from his forehead. "You're safe now." The alien woman stared at him quietly. Then, with surprising gentleness, she touched his hand and said one word. Clear, soft, and full of emotion. "Thank you." Ethan smiled faintly. "Don't thank me yet. We need to figure out who you are." Outside the window, the jungle disappeared beneath the clouds. But Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that something, or someone, was watching them leave. As the silver comet drifted into orbit, the mysterious woman closed her eyes and whispered something in her language. The ship's AI caught only a fragment. "Chosen. Protector." Ethan didn't understand it, but her tone sent a chill down his spine. He didn't know yet that saving her had just made him the target of an entire world. Ethan didn't sleep that night. The hum of the silver comet's engines filled the silence as the stars stretched endlessly outside his window. The alien woman rested in the medical bunk, wrapped in a gray blanket, her breathing steady but soft. Every time Ethan looked at her, he felt the same strange pull he couldn't explain, a mix of worry, curiosity, and something deeper he didn't want to name. He leaned back in the pilot's seat, staring at the scanner. No signs of pursuit. For now, they were safe. "Status check," he said to the ship's AI. "All systems nominal," replied the calm mechanical voice. Passenger stable. Heart rate decreasing, Ethan exhaled. Good. Let's find her a safe station by morning. But morning came, and things got complicated. When he opened his eyes, she was standing right in front of him, awake, alert, and staring out the viewing window like she'd never seen space before. Her hair floated slightly in the ship's recycled air, silver strands glowing under the cabin lights. You should be resting, he said gently. She turned, her glowing blue eyes locking onto him. You flag alone? Ethan nodded. Yeah, easier that way. She tilted her head, confused. Why save me? He rubbed the back of his neck. Guess I couldn't watch someone die. Her expression softened, and for a moment, silence filled the cabin, only the steady hum of the engines between them. When Ethan offered her food, she looked at it strangely before mimicking him, taking small bites. She didn't speak much, but every time she did, her words carried both fragility and power. She called herself Lyra. Where's your home, Lyra? He asked, her gaze dropped. Gone. Burned by those who hunt, Ethan frowned. Hunt you? Why? She didn't answer. Instead, she looked away and whispered something in her language. The translator implant on Ethan's wrist tried, but all it caught was a faint phrase. Never alone again. Hours later, as the Silver Comet approached the nearest trade station, Ethan opened a channel. Docking request. Human pilot, 1 passenger, emergency med entry. Confirmed, came the robotic reply. The ship latched onto the station's outer bay with a deep metallic clang. Ethan turned to Lyra. You'll be safe here. I'll arrange transport for you. But Lyra stepped back, shaking her head. No, not safe. Stay, Ethan frowned. Look, I can't take you across the galaxy. I'm not. Before he could finish, the alarm screamed. Warning, said the AI. Unidentified ships on intercept course. 2, 3. Closing fast, Ethan spun to the radar. Small red dots blinked closer. Attack crafts, no doubt about it. He looked at Lyra. You led them here? Her eyes widened with guilt. They track me. I'm sorry. The station's control tower called over comms. Unidentified ships approaching. Get out now if you can. Ethan slammed the throttle. The Silver Comet broke free from the dock, engines roaring. Laser bolts flashed past the window, lighting up the black void. Hold on, he shouted. Lyra gripped the co-pilot seat, her markings glowing brighter as if reacting to danger. Suddenly, the air around her shimmered and the ship's control panel flickered. What the? Ethan muttered. Power surge detected, the AI said. Unknown energy source interfering with systems. Lyra pressed her palm to the dashboard. Trust me, she whispered. A blue light pulsed from her hand, spreading through the ship. The next instant, every enemy laser fizzled out before hitting them, like invisible shields bending reality itself. Ethan stared in shock. You did that? He asked, voice low. Lyra looked at him with pain and fear. My power. They want it. That's why I cannot leave. The pursuers fell behind, their systems jammed by the energy wave. The Silver Comet shot forward, leaving trails of starlight behind. When silence returned, Ethan's heartbeat finally slowed. Guess I owe you one now, Lyra smiled faintly. Now, we protect each other. He couldn't argue with that. As he set new coordinates into the nav system, he noticed something strange. The signal tracker on his dashboard flickered, as if marking them both as one unit. He sighed. Looks like you're stuck with me, Lyra. She nodded softly. Yes, I stay. Outside, the stars burned quietly as the ship drifted deeper into the unknown. Ethan leaned back, staring at her reflection in the glass. He'd saved her once, but now it felt like she was the one saving him from a life of silence. And though he didn't know it yet, this was only the beginning of a bond that would challenge both worlds. The Silver Comet floated quietly between distant stars, but Ethan could not rest. The hum of the engines was steady, yet he felt the weight of invisible eyes watching him from across the galaxy. Lyra sat near the observation window, her silver hair glowing faintly in the starlight. She hadn't spoken much since the attack near the station. Her hands rested on her lap, and the strange bracelet around her wrist pulsed every few seconds like a heartbeat. Ethan leaned against the pilot's chair. That thing, the one you used to stop their lasers, it's powerful. Too powerful. Lyra looked up at him, her voice soft but firm. It is not a weapon. It is part of me. Part of you? She nodded. Born with it. My mother said it is a mark of balance, but others want to use it, to rule. Ethan frowned. And those ships chasing us? Her eyes darkened. They belong to the rebel clans. They destroyed my home. Now they hunt anyone with royal blood. Ethan stared at the controls, silent. He had seen wars before, human wars. But this one felt larger, colder, full of secrets written in the stars. Then they'll keep coming, he said finally. Yes, Lyra whispered. Until I am gone. The ship's AI broke the silence. Captain Cole, 3 unidentified signatures approaching from the east vector. Ethan jumped into the pilot's seat. Here we go again. Outside, the radar flashed red. 3 dark ships moved in formation, sleek and silent like predators stalking prey. Lyra, strap in. She obeyed, but her hands trembled. They found us so fast. Ethan's fingers flew over the console. They must be tracking your energy signature. We need to lose them. The silver comet dived toward a nearby asteroid field, engines flaring blue. The pursuing ships followed, firing bursts of plasma. Rocks exploded all around them, spinning debris into the void. Ethan gritted his teeth. Hold steady. Come on, come on! A plasma bolt grazed their wing, shaking the cabin. Lyra cried out and clutched her seat. Shields at 60%, said the AI calmly. Ethan steered the ship through the twisting maze of asteroids. The narrow passages glowed with reflected firelight from the chase. We'll lose them here, he said, his voice tight. But one of the pursuers launched a magnetic net, shimmering with blue energy, that latched onto their rear hull. The ship shuddered. Tractor field engaged, warned the AI. Ethan cursed under his breath. Not today. Lyra reached out, placing her glowing hand on the wall. Let me help. Wait, too late. A bright wave of light burst from her bracelet, surging through the ship like a living pulse. The magnetic field outside cracked and shattered. For a heartbeat, the enemy sensors went dark. Ethan saw his chance. He flipped the ship upside down, dove between 2 spinning boulders, and cut the engines. The silver comet drifted silently into the shadows, cloaked by the debris. Outside, the enemy ships passed overhead, scanning empty space. After a few long minutes, they vanished into the distance. Ethan exhaled heavily, running a hand through his hair. You just saved us again. Lyra looked pale. Power drains me. She leaned against the seat, weak but still smiling faintly. You fly well, Ethan, he chuckled softly. I try not to die. She laughed quietly, a small musical sound that filled the cabin with warmth. For the first time since they met, Ethan saw her smile, and it did something strange to his chest. But the peace didn't last. The AI spoke again, its tone serious. Captain, a data fragment was transmitted during the attack. Our location may be compromised. Ethan's heart sank. They're tracking us even through the field. Lyra looked down at her glowing bracelet. They follow my light. I am the beacon. He turned to her. Then we'll hide that beacon. I'll find a way. No, she said softly. You risk too much for me. Ethan's eyes hardened. You didn't ask for this war. You deserve to live. Her expression softened. And you? Why fight for me? He hesitated. Because I can't just watch someone get hunted down for being born different. For a long moment, they sat in silence, 2 souls from different worlds floating in endless space, bound by something neither could name. Finally, Ethan stood. Get some rest. I'll set a new course farther from any patrol routes. Lyra nodded, eyes heavy. Thank you, Ethan. You are not like others. As she drifted to sleep, Ethan stared at the stars. The chime of incoming data echoed softly, and a small holographic image appeared on his console. Wanted posters with her face and strange alien text. Reward, 1 million star credits. Ethan clenched his fist. So they've put a price on her head now. He looked at her peaceful face, then back at the endless void. They'll have to go through me first. Outside, unseen in the darkness, one enemy ship still lingered behind an asteroid. Silent, patient and watching, the hunt wasn't over. It had only just begun. The silver comet drifted through the quiet of deep space. Stars shimmered like cold diamonds across the black sky. But Ethan Cole's mind wasn't calm. The holographic bounty notice still glowed faintly on his console. Lyra's image, her alien markings, and the massive reward beside her name. He rubbed his temples. 1 million credits. For you? He whispered under his breath. She was sleeping in the back cabin, breathing softly. Her silver hair had fallen over her face and faint blue lines pulsed under her skin, the same light that had saved them. Every time Ethan saw it, he felt awe and fear. He turned off the screen, but the question kept burning in his head. Who exactly was she? Hours later, Lyra woke up and found him at the controls. Her voice was gentle but cautious. "You have not rested." Ethan smiled tiredly. "Can't sleep when half the galaxy's after us." She walked closer, the lights flickering faintly around her as she moved. "You saw the message, didn't you?" He looked up, surprised. "You knew about it?" "Yes," she said softly. "They call me Traitor Princess." Ethan froze. "Princess?" Lyra nodded, her eyes downcast. "My mother is Queen Elira of Valerian. Or, she was. The rebels took our world months ago. They killed my guards. My ship fell when I tried to escape." Her voice trembled slightly, but she didn't cry. Her strength was quiet, full of grief that ran deep. Ethan leaned back, trying to process. "So the people chasing us, they're rebels?" "Yes. They believe killing me will break the last symbol of the royal bloodline." He let out a slow whistle. "That explains the firepower." Lyra met his gaze. "When you saved me, you became part of their hunt." "I did not mean for that," Ethan shrugged. "I'm not the type to leave someone behind, princess or not." Her eyes softened. "You are different from my kind, humans. You act before you think," he grinned. "You noticed." For the first time in days, she smiled back, a real small smile. But it didn't last long. The ship's AI beeped suddenly. "Captain Cole, I have detected encrypted data from Lyra's bracelet. Would you like to analyze?" Lyra looked startled. "No," she said quickly, clutching her wrist. Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Hey, easy. I'm not trying to steal your secrets." She hesitated, then sighed. "It's not just data, it's—" "A message. A message from who?" Lyra touched the bracelet, and a soft golden light filled the cabin. A hologram appeared, a woman with the same silver hair and glowing skin, older but regal. Her voice was melodic, carrying sadness and strength. "My daughter," said the hologram, "if you see this, then Valerian has fallen. You must survive. A protector from beyond the stars will come, one who walks the path of light and shadow. Trust him. Together you will restore what was lost." The image faded, leaving silence. Ethan blinked. "Well, that's new. A prophecy?" Lyra's voice shook. "I never believed it. But when you saved me, the bracelet awoke for the first time." He looked down, unsure how to respond. "So your mother thought some random human was going to save your world?" She nodded slowly. "It seems—" "She was right?" Ethan laughed nervously. "I fix ships, not empires." Lyra stepped closer, her gaze steady. "Maybe you fix more than that." He opened his mouth to reply, but the ship jolted suddenly. The alarm screamed. "Warning," said the AI. "Unidentified vessel locking on. Energy signature. Royal technology." Ethan gripped the controls. "That can't be good." Lyra stared at the radar. "It's one of ours and a royal fleet ship. But why would it attack?" The pursuing craft didn't hail. It opened fire, beams of blue plasma cutting across the void. Ethan cursed and spun the silver comet sideways. "Guess we'll ask later." The ship rocked violently. Sparks flew. Lyra fell forward and Ethan caught her. For a second, their faces were close, too close, her eyes glowing like galaxies. "Hold on to something," he shouted. They dove toward a gas nebula, clouds of color swallowing them. The enemy ship followed, but sensors began to fail. Inside the thick mist, lightning flashed between clouds, lighting their faces in gold and purple. Lyra closed her eyes, pressing her hand to the bracelet. "I can hide us, but only for a short time." Ethan nodded. "Do it!" A pulse of energy spread outward, and the silver comet vanished from scanners. Moments later, silence returned. Only the low rumble of the nebula remained. Ethan exhaled. "That was too close." Lyra leaned weakly against the wall. "Now you see why I cannot go back, my people. They do not trust anyone anymore. Not even me." Ethan looked at her, tired, scared, yet still strong. And something inside him shifted. He realized this wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about trust, about something deeper forming between two souls from different worlds. He smiled faintly. "Then they'll have to earn your trust back. One step at a time." She met his eyes. "With you?" Yeah, he said quietly. With me. Outside, the nebula lightning flared again. Two figures, one human and one alien, standing side by side in the glow. Neither of them knew what waited beyond the clouds, but somewhere out there, a queen had whispered a prophecy. And it had already begun to come true. The silver comet glided out of the nebula after 3 days of silence. Its hull was scarred, its fuel almost gone, and its crew, just Ethan and Lyra, were exhausted. Ethan leaned back in his pilot's seat, eyes half closed. We're running low on power. We'll need to dock soon. Lyra stood by the window staring into the infinite dark. You risked too much already. Maybe I should go. He turned to her sharply. Go where? They'll find you the moment you step off this ship. She said nothing, just looked down, her glowing hands folded tightly together. Ethan softened his tone. Lyra, we'll find a place to rest. Somewhere safe? I promise, the navigation system pinged. Nearest outpost detected, Juno's Haven, Sector 12. Ethan smiled faintly. Small station, trade hub. Perfect for refuel and supplies. He didn't see the flicker of unease cross Lyra's face. Hours later, the silver comet docked at Juno's Haven. The place was old, metal corridors creaking, lights flickering, and the smell of oil and smoke hanging in the air. Merchants shouted over prices, smugglers argued, and droids moved cargo across the deck. To any stranger, it looked like chaos. To Ethan, it was home. Stay close, he said, stepping into the station's noisy market. Lyra nodded, her hood pulled low to hide her silver hair. Her glowing skin still shimmered faintly, but most people were too busy to notice. They stopped at a repair stall run by a wide-shouldered man with cybernetic arms and a grin full of metal teeth. Ethan Cole, the man boomed. Didn't think I'd see you again, you crazy pilot. Ethan smiled. Still alive, Jax. Need a refuel and some new shield coils. Jax chuckled. You always bring me trouble, my friend. What happened this time? Long story, Ethan said. Just need the ship ready fast. Jax nodded and leaned closer, lowering his voice. And the lady? She your co-pilot? Ethan hesitated. Something like that. Jax grinned wider. Lucky man. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. But as Ethan and Lyra walked away, Jax's smile faded. His mechanical eye flickered red as he opened a hidden comm link beneath the counter. This is Jax at Juno's Haven, he whispered. You won't believe who just showed up. The bounty girl. The Valerian princess, with a human. Ethan and Lyra stopped at a quiet food stall. She picked at the strange glowing fruit, clearly uneasy. Too many eyes, she murmured. I can feel it. Ethan scanned the room. Relax, no one knows who you are here. But even as he said it, a group of cloaked figures entered the marketplace, their movements sharp and controlled. Their armor was black and silver, the colors of the rebel clans. Lyra froze. Ethan. He saw them too. Stay behind me. They began to move through the crowd, scanning faces. Ethan grabbed Lyra's hand and ducked into a maintenance corridor. Back to the ship, he said. They ran through the narrow halls, footsteps echoing. But as they reached the docking bay, two rebels blocked their path. Stop right there, human. One shouted, raising his blaster. Step away from the girl. Ethan fired first. Blue plasma bolts tore through the corridor. The rebels scattered, returning fire. Sparks flew from the walls. Run, Lyra. Ethan shouted. She didn't run. Instead, she raised her hand and the same soft blue light burst from her bracelet, throwing their attackers backward. The energy left scorch marks along the walls. Ethan grabbed her arm. Come on, that blast just told everyone where we are. They sprinted toward the ship, alarms blaring through the station. When they reached the silver comet, Ethan hit the controls. Launch! The ship lifted off, but not fast enough. An energy clamp locked onto the hull, freezing them midair. From the control tower, Jax's voice came through the comms. Sorry, Ethan, it's just business. That bounty could buy me a whole fleet. Ethan's eyes darkened. Jax, you sold us out. The comm crackled. You always said everyone's got a price. Guess I found mine. Ethan hit the throttle again. The ship roared, straining against the magnetic clamp. Lyra stepped forward, breathing fast. Let me help. No! He snapped. You're too weak after last time. She ignored him. The air around her began to glow brighter and brighter, the light flowing through her veins. The clamp's power flickered. The ship shook violently, alarms flashing red. Brace yourself, Ethan shouted. A blinding wave of blue energy exploded outward. The magnetic clamp shattered. and the silver comet shot free into open space. Ethan steadied the controls, his chest pounding. You did it again. But that blast was huge. They'll all be coming after us now. Lyra fell into the co-pilot's seat, exhausted. I couldn't let you die. He looked at her, his voice low. You're going to get yourself killed for me. She smiled faintly. Then we'll die together. Ethan looked out at the burning stars, his hands tightening on the controls. Not yet. Not today. Behind them, Juno's haven shrank to a tiny light in the dark. But Ethan knew it wouldn't be the last betrayal they faced. In this galaxy, loyalty was rare, and every friend could become an enemy for the right price. As the silver comet disappeared into hyperspace, Ethan glanced at Lyra. She was asleep again, her face peaceful despite everything. He whispered quietly, almost to himself, I won't let them take you, no matter what it costs. Outside, the stars streaked by, bright trails across the endless dark. The war for survival had only just begun. The silver comet floated through the void like a wounded bird. Its hull bore the scars of a dozen battles, and the smell of burnt circuits lingered in the air. Ethan Cole sat in the pilot's seat, exhausted, his hands resting on the controls that buzzed faintly under his fingertips. Lyra slept nearby, wrapped in a thermal blanket. The faint blue glow of her markings flickered gently, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. For days she hadn't spoken much. Every time she used her power, it seemed to drain something deep inside her, something that didn't come back easily. Ethan watched her quietly. He wanted to protect her, but every planet, every station they landed on turned into a trap. He was running out of options, and he knew it. The AI broke the silence. Incoming transmission. Encrypted royal frequency, Ethan frowned. Royal? The voice came through like soft thunder, calm, regal, and full of emotion. This is Queen Elira of Valerian. Identify yourself. Ethan froze, then glanced at Lyra. She stirred at the sound, her eyes snapping open. Mother, she whispered. The hologram bloomed to life. A tall woman draped in flowing silver and gold robes, her face bearing the same glowing lines as Lyra's, but older, wiser. Her eyes softened the moment they landed on her daughter. My child, the queen said, her voice trembling slightly. You are alive. Lyra stood, tears welling up in her eyes. They told me you were dead. The queen smiled faintly. They failed to finish their work. But our world has changed. The throne is lost. The rebellion spreads faster than we can rebuild. Ethan stood back, unsure what to say. He felt like he was watching something sacred, a reunion that wasn't meant for outsiders. Then the queen's gaze turned to him. And you, human. You are the protector the prophecy spoke of. Ethan blinked. I'm just a pilot, ma'am. Not sure I believe in prophecies. The queen's eyes glimmered. You don't need to believe in destiny for it to choose you. He shifted awkwardly. With respect, your majesty, I'm just trying to keep her alive. And you have done more than that, the queen said softly. You have awakened the ancient bond, the Karanai. Lyra's eyes widened. Mother, that's just legend. The queen shook her head. No, my daughter, it is real. When one of royal blood binds their life to another through gratitude and trust, the power they share grows stronger. That is why your light responds to him. His will feeds your strength. Ethan's stomach turned. Wait, are you saying? Lyra looked away, embarrassed. It means I can feel what you feel, Ethan. Your pain, your fear, even your hope. He swallowed hard. Well, that explains a lot. The queen's expression darkened. But such bonds are dangerous. If either of you falls, the other may follow. That is why you must decide. Ethan frowned. Decide what? Come to me, the queen said. I can hide you both in the royal sanctuary on Valerian's moon. But once you enter, you cannot leave until the war ends. You will be safe, but trapped. Lyra's eyes filled with conflict. And if we refuse? Then the rebels will find you, and the prophecy will die with you both. The connection flickered. The queen's voice grew faint. My daughter, choose wisely. Love can be your power or your doom. The hologram faded, leaving silence behind. Ethan leaned against the console, his mind spinning. So, your mother wants us to hide. Lyra's voice was small. She wants us alive. He stared out the window at the endless dark. Hiding isn't living. Lyra looked at him, her voice trembling. Ethan, if we go to her, maybe we can rest. Maybe you can be free from all this. He turned to her sharply. Free? You think I'd leave you there alone? Her eyes widened. and for a second they both forgot the universe around them. The hum of the engines faded into silence. "I can't lose you," Ethan said quietly. "Not after everything." Lyra took a step closer, her glow reflecting softly on his face. "You won't, but you can't fight the entire galaxy either." He smiled faintly. "You'd be surprised what humans can do when we care about someone." Her breath caught in her throat.
"Ethan?"
The AI interrupted, its tone urgent. "Warning. Large fleet detected entering this system. Signature matches Valerian Royal Guard and rebel clans. They've found us." Ethan turned back to the controls. "Well, looks like the Queen's invitation came just in time." Lyra gripped his arm. "What will you do?" He looked at her, determination burning in his eyes. "The same thing I've done since the day I found you." "And what is that?" she asked softly. "Keep you safe." He pushed the throttle forward. The stars stretched into streaks of light as the silver comet dove toward the coordinates the Queen had sent. Outside, two massive fleets began converging. One of loyalty, one of rebellion. And between them, one small ship carrying two hearts bound by something neither of them yet understood. The Queen's final words echoed in Lyra's mind. "Love can be your power, or your doom." As the stars burned brighter, both of them silently wondered which one it would be. The silver comet raced toward Valerian's moon, the engines screaming through the void. Alarms flashed red across the control panels, and the stars outside blurred into streaks of light. Ethan Cole's hands gripped the controls tightly. Behind them, two massive fleets, one royal, one rebel, clashed in a storm of fire and metal. Plasma bolts lit up the darkness like shooting stars. The sky burned. Lyra sat beside him, her silver hair glowing faintly in the chaos. "We're between them, Ethan. Both sides will destroy us." He glanced at her, voice steady. "Then we'll fly through them." She stared at him, shocked. "Through them? That's suicide." He smiled grimly. "We've survived worse." Outside, a royal battleship fired a volley that barely missed them. The ship shook violently. Ethan fought the controls as sparks flew from the console. "Shield integrity at 40%, warned the AI. Ethan gritted his teeth. "Just hold together, girl. We're not done yet." He dove the ship downward, weaving through the wreckage of burning vessels. The explosions painted the cockpit with bursts of orange and blue light. Lyra pressed her glowing hand against the dashboard. The power from her bracelet flowed into the system, stabilizing the ship. "This bond between us, it grows stronger the closer we are," she whispered. Ethan glanced at her. "Yeah, let's hope it's strong enough to get us through this." As they approached the moon's atmosphere, a deep voice came over the comms. "This is Admiral Kale of the Royal Guard. Identify yourself immediately." Ethan hesitated. "It's Ethan Cole. I'm with Princess Lyra." Static filled the channel, then a sharp reply. "The Queen awaits. But hurry, the rebels are closing in." Lyra exhaled in relief. "We're almost there." But before they could descend, 3 rebel interceptors broke through the chaos, locking onto their tail. "They're not giving up," Ethan said. He swerved hard, pulling the ship into a spiral dive. The interceptors followed, firing red plasma. One shot hit their rear thrusters, shaking the cabin. Lyra's markings flared bright blue, and she raised her hand. "I'll stop them," Ethan shouted. "No, you'll burn yourself out." She met his eyes. "You once said humans never give up when they care. Then let me be human for a moment." Before he could stop her, she unleashed a blinding wave of energy. Blue light rippled through the vacuum, swallowing the interceptors whole. The shockwave shattered their formation, scattering debris into the dark. When the light faded, Lyra collapsed into her seat, breathing heavily. Ethan reached for her hand. "Lyra, hey, stay with me," she smiled weakly. "Did it work?" He nodded. "Yeah, you did it." Her eyes fluttered closed. "Good. Then I can rest now." "Not yet," he whispered. "Not until we're safe." He guided the ship toward the glowing domes of Valerian's moon. The royal base shimmered in the distance, surrounded by crystal spires and silver towers reflecting starlight. It looked peaceful, too peaceful for a galaxy at war. As they landed, med drones rushed to assist. The Queen's hologram appeared again, but this time her image was unstable, the signal breaking apart. "My daughter," she said softly, "your courage has given hope to our people. But the rebels have breached the outer defense." "You must escape," Ethan frowned. "What, after all this?" The Queen's voice trembled. I will hold them as long as I can. Take the ship and flee beyond the outer systems. Protect her, Ethan Cole. You are her shield. Then the hologram flickered out. Lyra stirred weakly, whispering, "She's staying behind." Ethan touched her shoulder. "We can go back for her." "No," Lyra said, shaking her head. "If we return, she'll die for nothing." Outside, explosions echoed through the moon's thin atmosphere. The royal fleet was falling. Ethan clenched his fists. "So that's it? We just run?" Lyra's eyes glowed faintly, filled with sorrow. "We live." That's what she wanted. He looked at her, this alien princess who had once been a stranger, now the center of his entire world. Slowly he nodded. "Then let's live." The silver comet rose once more, leaving the burning moon behind. The war shrank to a blur of light and flame below. Silence returned to the stars. Ethan sat back, exhausted. "So, where to now, Your Highness?" Lyra gave a small smile. "Anywhere. As long as you're there." He chuckled softly. "You know, you're a terrible passenger." "And you're a stubborn protector," she said, laughing weakly. Their laughter faded into quiet peace. Outside the window, 2 suns rose over the horizon, casting golden light through the cockpit. Lyra turned toward him. "Do you think destiny brought us together?" Ethan looked at her, his expression soft. "Maybe, or maybe we just got lucky," she smiled. "Then let's keep being lucky." He reached over and took her hand. The faint blue light from her bracelet spread, wrapping around their joined fingers, pulsing in perfect rhythm. 2 heartbeats, 1 light. As the silver comet vanished into hyperspace, the last message from the Queen replayed faintly in the AI's memory. "Love can be your power, or your doom." Ethan looked out into the stars and whispered, "We'll make it our power." And together, they flew into the endless light of a new dawn. A human and an alien princess, no longer fugitives but legends among the stars.